Welcome to Experiments in Leadership, practical insights for Caribbean business leaders. Hi, I'm Anthony Severo, and thank you for being with us for another episode of EiL's Cyber Resilience series for Caribbean business leaders. Today we are talking about board-level cyber reporting, where too much detail creates confusion and too little can create risk. You see, in our experience, most boards don't need to become cybersecurity experts, but they do need clarity on risk, impact, and accountability. Now, I'm not stating that we may have a director on our board that is, in fact, a cybersecurity expert. In fact, I think that's good. I think that complements the composition of the board, and it also allows the board to leverage the experience from that director. But in the main, what we have found is that the fastest way to lose a board is to report cyber risk using technical metrics that don't connect to business outcomes. Things like patch counts, vulnerability scores. The one I see a lot is IP addresses and tools with fancy dashboards. While these may be accurate in terms of the information, they are seldom actionable at the board level. Now, while not the same, but very relatable, I want to share something that I experienced in my early stage as a manager of a particular department. All right, so stay with me on this. I recall my very first meeting with my cybersecurity team. So you have the technical team and the incident response team. And that was after my immediate appointment as manager in charge of operational risk of a pretty large Caribbean bank. Within 10 minutes of that meeting, I was completely convinced that the Holy Spirit had entered that room because these guys were speaking in tongues. It had to be Aramaic. In fact, while they were speaking, I was actually looking for English subtitles to flash across the room. I just had to stop them and just said, guys, hold on, please. You see what you just shared there with me? Break it down for me from a business impact perspective. What are the issues? All right. What are your recommendations to fix it? And what approval you need for me to help you to fix these issues? And to me, this is the same thing that applies to board members. In our experience, effective board level reporting must answer three questions. What could disrupt the business and what the impact is by way of that disruption? How prepared are we to respond? And who owns the decisions when things go wrong? Cyber risk should be framed the very same way boards already evaluate other enterprise risk. The likelihood of it happening, the impact if it were to happen, and what are the mitigating solutions we are applying, tied directly to revenue, operations, safety, compliance, and of course, reputation. For me, strong reporting must focus on one, reporting cyber risk in business impact context, not technical, right? And I also suggest list what are the top 3 cyber threats that could impact your organization, whether it's ransomware, whether it's social engineering or phishing. I mean, deepfakes is huge now. Supply chain attacks and malware. These threats need to be determined based on your operations and services. Number 2, focus on critical services at an enterprise-wide level outcome. And let me expand a bit. If you were a bank or a credit union, what is the business impact on your operations if your core application were to go down for a day or 2 or 3? For those of us in the hotel industry, if your property management system were to be down for 2, 3, 4 days, how would this impact your ability to service your guests? Hospitals, if your patient record system were to go down for an extended period, how will you be able to provide proper health care to your patients? And that's where focus on critical services at an enterprise level comes into play. Number 3, based on 1 and 2, as I just mentioned, how protected are we? And if we were in fact successfully breached, how quickly can we recover to minimize business impact? Now, this brings us to what we discussed in a previous episode where I shared with you the difference between cybersecurity and cyber resilience. If you remember, cybersecurity protects, whereas cyber resilience speaks of recovery and business continuity. And this is where your incident response plan and your business continuity plan must build a relationship towards improving your time to restore your service. In your business continuity plan, this is called your recovery time objective. Okay. Number 4, show trends in your reports. Boards like to see trends. And these trends should cover the type of attacks relevant to your organization or in your region. All right. It should show trends in terms of the effectiveness of your controls. So you show your quarter on quarter, right? So you may have one quarter, you may have a risk rating of high. Next quarter, based on what you've implemented, it may be medium. Okay, these are important to show whether you're improving or not. A trend I always show is if board approvals were given to procure and implement any cybersecurity related system or service, I would report on the return on investment and how the investment is in fact protecting the business. Do not wait for them to ask. And this also helps you the next time you're coming to the board for any funding. All right. Number 5, be very explicit about decision ownership during incidents, especially as it relates to the role of the board and management. Okay. And this is a topic we're going to speak about in a later episode. So keep posted on that. All right. So based on these 5, the goal is not to reassure the board. And that's one of the things that when I read reports, it's like you're trying to reassure the board about you're fully protected or you have all your controls covered. No, it's not. It's to give the board information so that they can, in fact, execute the governance that they have under the enterprise risk of the organization. That's the remit of the board. All right. So this requires cyber risk to be tabled as a regular board agenda item, but within a business context. When boards understand cyber risk in business terms, they make faster and better decisions, especially under pressure. Because I can assure you, if you are in fact under attack, and I'm knocking on wood here, you will need to communicate with your board, all right, immediately. Now, based on what we just shared, I just want to take a reflective moment for us to look at a few things. But the main one is, if you had to present cyber risk to your board tomorrow, could you clearly articulate your top 3 cyber-driven business risks related to your organization, the estimated business impact for each of those risks, how prepared are you as an organization to respond to these attacks, and who owns which decision during a major attack? And if the answer is, well, I'm not too sure, we may have some work to do. I can tell you, as a CEO, I always land on the following question. If we were attacked tomorrow, would my board receive clarity or would they receive confusion? And maybe this is a question that could work for you also. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, the summary of what we're being shared, and it's no different from any other risk. Cyber risk is equal to business risk, and as such, it should be reported to the board within that context. All right. That's it for this episode. As always, thank you so much for spending time with us. We look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Until then, I'm Anthony Sibero, and goodbye for now. Thank you for being with us. If this episode brought any value to you, we kindly ask that you share with others. If you need help in your cyber resilience journey, you can find us at www.stratos-cyber.com. Till next time, keep well.